Now, Matt Walsh, he takes a super strict approach with his own kids, big time limiting their access to phones and the internet.
He's really concerned about the potential harm.
Oh, yeah. He even says that societal priorities are flipped upside down. Like, we're so focused on protecting kids from online danger.
But maybe neglecting real-world dangers in the process.
That's his point. It raises the question, how do we find that balance? Leveraging the benefits of technology without exposing kids to all the negative stuff.
It's a tough one. Every parent struggles with it.
No doubt. Now, Ben Shapiro, he's been pretty vocal about his views on Elon Musk and Twitter.
He's a fan of the whole free speech thing.
Yeah, he appreciates what he calls Musk's freewheeling approach.
And his push for transparency in how content is moderated.
Exactly. Shapiro sees it as a refreshing change from other platforms that seem to be hiding behind algorithms.
Making decisions behind closed doors.
Right. He thinks Musk's willingness to publicly address these issues, even if they're controversial, is more honest.
Or accountable, maybe.
That's it. But Matt Walsh, he actually expresses a different concern about this increased openness.
Oh, really? What's he worried about?
He talks about the desensitization he sees in online comments, especially on videos depicting violence and death.
People becoming numb to it?
He mentions seeing people making jokes about graphic content, which he finds really disturbing.
It's like the seriousness of it gets lost in the online space.
Exactly. He sees it as a sign of how online spaces can normalize and trivialize even the most sensitive issues.
Which raises the question, what impact does constant exposure to this kind of content have on us? Our empathy, our emotional well-being?
It's a scary thought, and it's not just violence. Brett Cooper also brings up the normalization of pornography.
Especially its potential impact on young women.
She's particularly concerned about platforms like OnlyFans, which kind of blur the lines between social media and adult content.
And they often lack the safeguards you'd find on traditional adult platforms.
Exactly. She worries that this easy access to porn is contributing to unrealistic expectations, body image issues, all of that.
It's a complex issue with a lot of layers to it.
For sure. Now let's circle back to something we touched on earlier, this idea of personal responsibility.
It seems to be a recurring theme in these conversations.
It is. Ben Shapiro really emphasizes the steps individuals can take to improve their financial situation, for example.
Like budgeting, making smart spending choices.
He even uses this example of brewing coffee at home instead of buying it at Starbucks.
Small changes adding up.
He sees it as part of a bigger mindset, taking control of your life instead of blaming external factors for your struggles.
Empowerment rather than victimhood.
Exactly. And this idea on personal responsibility goes beyond finances. Brett Cooper talks about taking responsibility for your own happiness.
Finding a career that aligns with your values, not just chasing a paycheck.
It's about finding meaning in your work, being proactive in creating a fulfilling life.
Shaping your own destiny.
And Matt Walsh has a lot to say about raising responsible kids.
He's big on setting boundaries, not shielding kids from every challenge.
He believes in letting them take controlled risks, like climbing trees or playing rough.
Learning to handle setbacks and develop resilience.
He contrasts that with what he calls overprotective parenting, which he thinks can actually hinder kids' development.
Interesting perspective. It challenges a lot of common parenting advice.
It does. Now, going back to Michael Knowles and his critiques of modern culture.
He's definitely a staunch defender of traditional values.
He uses that example of comparing Beethoven to Cardi B, remember. It's a bold statement that challenges the idea that all cultural expression is equal.
He's suggesting that embracing cultural relativism can lead to a decline in standards.
And a diminished appreciation for true beauty and excellence.
Makes you think about the values embedded in the culture we consume.
And speaking of consuming, let's go back to the topic of technology. Matt Walsh, in his conversation with George Janko, he's really worried about the amount of graphic violence online.
It's hard to escape it these days.
She talks about watching a video of a violent death and being really disturbed by the comments people were making.
Like they were making light of it.
Yeah, joking about it. It's like the gravity of the situation was completely lost.
He sees it as evidence of desensitization.
Becoming numb to violence because of constant exposure.
It makes you wonder how this affects our empathy and our ability to connect with real-world suffering.
It's a chilling thought, and this desensitization goes beyond violence. Brett Cooper, she voices concerns about the normalization of pornography, especially for young women.
Platforms like OnlyFans blurring the lines between social media and adult content.
And the lack of safeguards on those platforms.
Making them more susceptible to exploitation.
She argues that easy access to porn contributes to unrealistic expectations and a distorted view of healthy sexuality.
It's a complex issue with potentially far-reaching consequences. consequences.
It seems like a lot of these concerns boil down to the need for accountability, both individual accountability and accountability from these platforms.
They hold a lot of power in our lives these days.
They do. And speaking of accountability, Charlie Kirk, in his talk with George Jenko, he makes a really interesting point.
About being accountable to a higher power.
Exactly. He explains how his Christian faith helps him navigate the pressures and criticisms that come with being in the public eye.
So faith provides a framework for his values and actions.
It's a reminder that these conversations about race, gender, and politics are often tied to bigger questions about faith, morality, and the search for meaning.
Trying to figure out not just what we believe, but why we believe it.
And how those beliefs shape our actions in the world.
It's a lifelong journey for sure.
It is. And in a world overflowing with information and different narratives, how do we even know what's true?
How do we develop the critical thinking skills to sift through it all?
It's a challenge. But Ben Shapiro, in his interview with the Iced Coffee Hour, he talks about actively seeking out diverse perspectives.
Challenging our own assumptions.
He's all about that evidence-based approach. Question everything. Don't just accept the prevailing narratives.
Developing a healthy skepticism.
And Matt Walsh, he echoes that. He warns against easy answers and simplistic explanations.
Embrace intellectual humility.
Acknowledging that we don't have all the answers.
And be willing to be wrong sometimes.
It's tough, but it's also empowering, right? In a world full of spin, critical thinking is essential.
Being active participants in figuring things out, not just passive consumers of information.
Exactly. This deep dive has been a lot to process, that's for sure. We've covered a lot of ground, but there's still so much more to explore. Wow, we've really been through the ringer with these discussions, haven't we? Race, family, faith, technology. Been a lot.
It has. We heard some strong opinions, thought-provoking arguments, even some things that maybe made us question our own views, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with some final thoughts to chew on. Things that weren't explicitly said in the source material, but that kind of emerged naturally from what we've been talking about.
Yeah, like those lingering questions that stick with you.
Exactly. So here's one. If these commentators are right about all the dangers facing society, what are the solutions? Where do we even begin?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Something each of us has to grapple with individually. But I do think we can find some clues in what we've been exploring. Many of these commentators, they really stress the importance of strong families and communities.
Yeah, that seems to be a common thread. Like, those are the bedrock of a healthy society.
Yeah, right. Providing support, guidance, a sense of belonging, especially for young people.
And they're also big on those traditional values. Hard work, personal responsibility, respect for authority.
The idea that those values are essential for a stable and prosperous society.
And they urge us to be more critical of the media and technology we consume, right? To be aware of the content we're taking in, how it affects us.
It's about recognizing that we have the power to shape our own experiences. Our choices, big and small, they all contribute to the larger cultural landscape.
It's not just about pointing fingers, it's about taking ownership.
Exactly. So that leads us to our second big question. What can individuals actually do to address these big, scary societal challenges?
It can feel really overwhelming. Like, where do you even start?
You can. But these commentators, they remind us that even small actions can have a ripple effect.
Like what? What are some examples?
Mentoring a young person, volunteering in your community, even just having thoughtful conversations with people who have different views.
Just being open to hearing other perspectives.
Exactly. And maybe most importantly, just trying to live out the values we want to see in the world.
Leading by example.
Yeah, treating others with respect, striving to be our best selves. It's about recognizing that we're not just passive bystanders. We're all active participants in shaping the world around us.
This deep dive has been a real eye-opener, I gotta say. So many complex issues, so many different viewpoints, but hopefully you've gained a better understanding of what's being debated right now.
And remember, this is just a glimpse into a much larger conversation. We encourage you to keep digging, keep questioning, keep learning.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep those minds open and keep striving to make the world a better place.